In Winter by P. Herschel. Let the crookedness and straightness bespeak the light. Allen Ginsberg, Psalm 3. I know the crooked at once, how it tries to circle, catch a sudden pale gleam, how it sparks a pearly surprise against the sky, its silhouette, making a little bend just before the sun is visible. The straight is harder, no curves, no beckoning, just unendingly in the place we're used to. It's not exactly boring. It can stiffen hard to flatten silence in the light while it seeks. Maybe that's why looking for light when the season says Hanukkah is hard and easy. The Maccabees fight when the Greek Syrians leave. The straight plain facts plus one drop of oil burning. For 8 days to light up the crooked and the casual just for kids. Maybe light, plain light, is always unexpected, like a trick. When we stand in the yard at night, we see the stars' window gleam at us, though really we can hold on to them inside, behind the glass. This morning, before the sun could struggle through the fog, we found a dead bluebird on our deck. It stayed so long in the garden. This fall, we could watch it flicker, blue light up and down, through all the evergreens. Did the window glass play a trick on the bluebird? Some blaze of enlightenment it knew it had to reach. It's so hard to fling yourself against a mirage in the dark. Each year, when Hanukkah makes winter official, we'll remember the straight blue wings lying flat. Think of the surprisingly crooked pearly legs catching a sparkle, wavering up in two skinny half circles in the fog as if they had a kind of faith in the continuing light from Calyx. How to be Eaten by a Lion. Michael Johnson. For Claire Davis. If you hear the rush, the swish of mottled sand and dust kicked up under the striving paws, it's cessation, falling into the sharp and brittle grass, like the tick of a tin roof under the sun, or hint of rain that nightly wakes you. Try to stand your ground. Try not to scream, for it devalues you. That tawny head and burled mange, the flattened ears of its sleek engine will seem only a blur, a shock, a shadow across your neck that leaves you cold. It may seem soft, barely a blow, more like a falling, an exquisite giving of yourself to the ground. Made numb by those eyes, it may be easier just to watch, for fighting will only prolong things, and you will have no time to notice the sky. The texture of dust that incredible leaves the trees have. Instead, focus on your life, its crimson liquor it grows drunk on. Notice the way the red highlights his face, how the snub nose is softened, the lips made fuller, Notice his deft musculature, his rapture, because in all of creation there was not art to compare with such elegance, such simplicity. Notice this and remember it, this way in which you became beautiful, when you thought there was nothing more. From the Mid-American Review. To Yahweh, Tina Kelly. YHWH is definitely a verb form. We can take comfort in the certain knowledge that God is a verb, not a noun or an adjective. The Gifts of the Jews, Thomas Cahill. God is the spray on your lips from the freshly poured ginger ale. No, God is the arrival on your lip of the spray, the arcing, the spree. God is definitely not that weird sexuality of wild bird rehabilitators. God is, instead, waves blown back hard from the shore at night. Perhaps he is the rumbling, scaring, done by the haunted freight train. The shrill ghouls in the back cars climbing over each other to escape. God is weak-washing, the spearing of eels or fish from a canoe by torchlight. God is the inventing of words like weak-washing. She is not the fire darkening down. She is the goldfinch singing the whisper song, and the birthing of a second child, to feel your body blooming, to feel head, then shoulders, thigh, then cord tumbling, to live, to life, to give the initial downbeat to the timpanis, to cure mice by placing them in a cello, to do whatever the scarecrow did with his brains, and to make that acrid or burned quality of the smell of space, to crow, to fly, to gild and gnaw, to mean shapes, shear, smear, and shine, play and improvise, to the last. From the Southwest Review. What I think of death, if anyone's asking. Maud Kelly. Let me tell you about the cows. How scientists driven by some dark need to see them digest, really see it. Cut holes in the sides of 20 and inserted glass rings with plastic there, riveted to their skin, creating in each a porthole, so that when they stood together, sleepily chewing at the icy edge of a Missouri sunrise, they looked not unlike a fleet of cow ships moored illogically to a barn, bobbing on a sea of frozen sod. Let me tell you how I stumbled, 19 and drunk, across a field to touch one on a dare. The window. The boy had hissed, shoving the bottle at me for one last drink. It has to be the window. How I moved, stubbing my feet, shivering, woozy, eyes half-mooned from groping, and was almost there, hoping the boy was watching, impressed and aroused, his eyes blazing with the joke of it all. How then, from nowhere and all at once, the long arm of time's elliptical arc swooped in, wrapped me in its cello-thin line. How I stopped, looked at the cows, wondered what they must see coming towards them, what monster upon them now, mad with curiosity and no doubt a map of what to peel back next, having already torn open and plexiglassed their stomachs. Would it be their hearts, or would I take their souls? undo the papery layers of their thoughts, pull the thread of their breath to unravel the tones of their lowing. I am telling you how I reached the point I always knew would come, when I was at once too old and far too young. How I knew, really knew for the first time that there's wildness in us. How that made me sick, but I couldn't go back. So I went toward the only cow who watched, not me, but the sun. Pink as a newborn, heaving itself through the trees. I went to her, leaned my head on her back, the sun growing, the boy turning, her belly reflecting the last of the stars. From American Literary Review. Why do you keep putting animals in your poems? I open windows to catch a glimpse of grace. On the horizon, and in they sneak. Coyotes and crows, pikas, and the scholarly vole, dragging scoured skies I can see myself in, much cheaper than booking a flight to the Galapagos, and they teach me. Badgers rarely invent stories to make them sad about their bodies, and the wrinkliest of sharp eyes never dreams of ironing its face. My happiness is like a flock of sparrows that scatters when a bus drives by, then restrings itself 2 blocks away. A necklace of chirps festooning a caved-in barn. A capuchin monkey will bite a millipede to release a narcotic toxin, then pass the millipede to a neighbor as if it were a joint at a concert. In a Rhode Island nursing home, Oscar, the miracle cat, curls up. It reminds me, dolphins will sometimes pass pufferfish around, releasing just enough neurotoxin to get high, but not get hurt. With residence hours before they expire, converting death into purrs for the next world. A poem is grave and nursery. The more creatures you bury in one place, the more hunger bursts forth somewhere else, like bats at Carlsbad when the brightest day turns dark. The night I stood on my sister's feet and learned to waltz, a porcupine braved 4 lanes of asphalt and hurtling machines to chomp our windfall apples. 2 miracles of syncopation held together by a harvest moon. As Marianne Moore taught us, an hour at the Bronx Zoo in a tricorn hat leaves one happier than 9 months with a shrink. Comes a time you just have to wiggle your pin feathers, wag your ghost tail, feel your teeth grow long for the ragged salmon throwing their bodies upstream. From the Indiana Review.